Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, OECS ministers meet in Dominica on environmental sustainability, DOWASCO blames heavy rainfall for water shortages, and Customs moves to strengthen operations at Marigot Bay Port. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS Commission is hosting the 13th Council of Ministers Environmental Sustainability meeting in Dominica on May 27 to 28. The meeting, held under the theme the OECS Collective Resolve Innovative Pathways in a High-Risk Global Landscape, will bring together regional ministers, environmental experts and development partners to discuss climate resilience and sustainable development. The meeting will be chaired by Dominica's Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Kozia Frederick.
The OECS is one of the most organized regional agencies, and we have a very functional cohort of Ministers of Environment. And this year, the 13th cohort will be chaired by myself. And in so doing, we are hosting the entire event on the island. So it's very important to us, because as we move on throughout our development as a small island developing state, as we examine the global events and we are mindful of building our resiliency, we see that more than ever we appear to be a model of good practices as it relates to climate resilience, climate financing, and also treating with people development. And so we are happy to host the event and to showcase to the rest of the OECS some of the good practices that we have within our space as we continue to grow our economy and as we continue to make major investments in infrastructure and in livelihoods.
Key discussions will focus on climate and disaster resilience, biodiversity, conservation, sustainable energy, ocean governance and pollution management. An environmental sustainability exhibition is also being held at the Goodwill Parish Hall, showcasing regional climate solutions and environmental projects.
The OECS are, by definition, small island developing states, and I would argue that we are big ocean states. And in that way, we have faced many challenges. Most of the challenges in climate change have not been of our doing. We realize that there are major emitters around the world, in the first world countries, that have contributed to climate change. And that stems from the entire colonization process, which also developed into the industrialization of various jurisdictions. And climate change is really the effects of polluting the environment while countries attempted to build their capital. As small island developing states, we are on the front line of the climate change, because we see ever-changing weather patterns. We see more intense hurricanes. Even recently, as of April 26, my community, the community in the East Coast, there are a major trough system hit us. It's a sort of an unprecedented amount of rain that fell in a couple hours, and we saw major devastation across that particular space. So we are on the front line, but we know for a fact that we are not major contributors to the climate change. And so we really want to put our heads together at the OECS level to find some of the solutions and to speak boldly, to speak firmly to the major emitters, and to assist us in building our resiliency, and also assist us in mitigating against those massive and disruptive climate events.
The meeting seeks to strengthen regional cooperation and advance sustainable development efforts across the region. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Water and Sewage Company, DOWASCO, Kimani Saint-Jean, highlights heavy rainfall as the main reason for the shortage of potable water in some areas on the island.
We experienced heavy rainfall in Dominica over the past few days, where our intake for water area 1 is located, that's in Springfield. We experience heavy rainfall there. And so usually when that happens, we have to shut down the system so that turbid water does not get into storage. And so water area 1 was shut down for a few hours on Monday, and that will cause interruption in communities, especially elevated communities. And for those who don't know, water area 1 serves all the communities between Marigot and Castle Comfort. That includes Warner, Campbell, and Walhouse to a certain extent. So areas that are elevated, especially areas like Maho, some parts of Maho, Belvirol, Warner itself, Campbell, certain parts of St. Joseph. So areas that are elevated would experience interruption in service because the system was shut down.
She says the water system has been reopened and service will continue.
The system has been reopened, and so right now we are just waiting for the tanks to refill and for the network to balance out so that everywhere can be served adequately. As you know, when the system is shut down and we're not filtering, it means that while the system is shut off, then customers are being served by a storage, and so the tanks are lowering. And so when we reopen, then all the tanks have to refill. So that's what's happening now. So we're hoping before the end of the day, affected areas like Roseau and Maho, Walhouse, Castle Comfort to a certain extent, we're hoping that by news time, these areas should be restored.
DOWASCO encourages clients to practice water storage as a relief exercise.
We want to encourage people to store water habitually. Store water, not only in the rainy season, not only in the hurricane season, just always store water as a habit, because resilience starts at the home level, the business level, and so we want to really encourage persons to always have water in storage for emergency use, because we never know what may happen. Landslides occur that can hinder our ability to provide customers with water. It may be, rain, like we said, and turbidity, flash flooding, all of those things. It may be a mechanical issue with the system. So yes, our role is to ensure that all our customers always have access to water, but we want persons to understand that there may be instances beyond our control that's going to happen, that's going to prevent us from being able to provide service, for a period of time.
Comptroller of Customs Mr. Alt Vidal says the Marigot Bay facility is already functioning as a customs port of entry, and efforts are now underway to strengthen operations as government moves toward the full operationalization of the port. Mr. Vidal addressed fishermen during a meeting in Marigot where concerns were raised about how customs operations would coexist with fishing activities at the facility. He explained that while the port has not yet been operating at full capacity, customs officers have already been processing vessels arriving from outside Dominica.
It is a customs port of entry. It has not been officially functioning at a very strong level, but what I can say is we've had many reports of vessels coming from out of Dominica reporting to this area, and customs did attend to them.
Mr. Vidal says customs laws require the establishment of an examination station to process passengers, crew members, and vessels entering the country through the port. He says an area has already been identified within the facility for those operations.
When we look at the area, for customs to operate, there must be an examination station. It is part of the customs law that there have to be a customs examination station. Within the space here, we have to find a place for that. And this is where we establish this little area on the side so that we can process the passengers, the vessels when they come in. We can process them, do the examination of the passengers and crew, and have them exit.
The Comptroller says the long-term vision is to model operations at Marigot Bay after the port facilities in Anse-de-May and Roseau, where fisheries and port activities coexist.
The operation of this port will be similar to that of Anse-de-May. We are very familiar with the Anse-de-May port. It will be modeled on the Anse-de-May port. And if we go as far as even in Roseau, looking at the fisheries area in Roseau and the ferry terminal, you can see this little space there, and it is working so smoothly.
Mr. Vidal also sought to reassure fishermen that customs operations will not interfere with domestic fishing activities. He says customs officials are only concerned with international vessels entering Dominica.
The whole area now is a customs port of entry. But there's a facility, a fisheries facility existing there already. So this is where we have to work collaboratively. We wouldn't be interfering in the business of the fishermen. And it is clear in the law that domestic fishing activity, we are not interested in that. It will only be for international or vessels coming from outside of Dominica.
792 candidates will sit the 2026 Grade 6 National Assessment this week. The annual exams will be held on Thursday, May 28 and Friday, May 29. Curriculum Measurement and Evaluation Officer in the Ministry of Education, Ms. Krishna Robin, says the island-wide exam will be conducted in 62 centers.
The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence wishes to inform the public that the annual Grade 6 National Assessment will be administered on Thursday, May 28th and Friday, May 29th, 2026. This year, a total of 792 candidates comprising of 380 girls and 412 boys are registered to take the examinations across 62 designated centers island-wide. The assessments are scheduled to begin at 7:45 a.m. daily. All examinations will be conducted in a paper-based format and structured as follows. Thursday, May 28th, Language Arts and Social Science Multiple Choice and Composition. Friday, May 29th, Mathematics and Science and Technology Multiple Choice.
To ensure a smooth and stress-free examination period, the ministry has taken numerous initiatives such as training for all stakeholders.
The ministry has collaborated extensively with educators and school administrators to guarantee a seamless and efficient examination process. Preparations have included the distribution of comprehensive stakeholder guidelines and specialized training sessions for all exam supervisors. The ministry also extends its sincere gratitude to the Ministry of National Security for their vital assistance in securing the examination materials.
Ms. Robin also encouraged parents to remain away or rather stay away from centers during the examination.
To maintain a quiet and focused environment, parents, guardians, or any unauthorized individuals are strictly requested to remain clear of school compounds while examinations are in progress. Additionally, the ministry encourages parents and guardians to ensure their children receive adequate rest and relaxation in the days leading up to the assessments. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence extends its best wishes to all candidates for a successful and rewarding examination period.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Social Services with special responsibility for gender affairs, Honorable Dr. Cassandra Williams, says the Reproductive Education and Adolescent Community Health Initiative, REACH, reminds us that supporting adolescents is not the sole responsibility of young people. The minister, who was representing the Minister for Health, Honorable Cassani Laville, spoke at the launch of REACH in Dominica last week.
REACH also reminds us that supporting adolescents is not only the responsibility of young people themselves, It is the responsibility of all of us. It is the responsibility of healthcare workers who provide care with patience and confidentiality. It is the responsibility of teachers who create safe classrooms where students feel comfortable asking questions. It is the responsibility of parents and guardians who guide with love and understanding. It is the responsibility of communities, faith leaders, youth groups, and policymakers who shape the environments our young people grow up in every day. This is why the principle of every oneness resonates so deeply with us. Every oneness reminds us that no adolescent should ever feel alone in their journey. It teaches us that improving adolescent health outcomes requires all of us working together, families, schools, communities, and health systems, creating a circle of support around every young person.
The initiative focuses on improving the sexual and reproductive health and well-being of young people, particularly girls in Dominica and the region. REACH project manager Cynthia Fontenelle says the program makes it safe for young people to ask questions.
What would it mean for a young person in our region to feel truly safe? Safe to ask questions, safe to seek care, and safe to be heard without judgment? It is a privilege to stand before you as we come together around a shared purpose, strengthening the health and future of our young people across the OECS. REACH is a 4-year initiative. It was launched last year, funded by Global Affairs Canada. It is implemented by Alinea International Canada with a field office in St. Lucia, in collaboration with OECS Commission and CTEC Jamaica. The project is being delivered across St. Lucia, here in Dominica, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. At its core, REACH is about improving adolescent sexual and reproductive health through stronger service delivery, meaningful youth engagement, increased community awareness, and enhanced policy coordination.
And now your weather update. The atmosphere over the area is expected to remain moist and unstable over the next 12 to 24 hours. This is expected to support mostly cloudy skies with a few showers across the island. Saharan dust is expected to linger across the area throughout the week, with moderate concentrations expected tomorrow. People with respiratory sensitivities should be on alert and take precaution to avoid complications. Sea conditions are forecast to be moderate over the next 24 hours, with wave heights near 5 feet along the western coast and near 8 feet and decreasing along the eastern coast. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to remain cautious. A tropical wave is moving across the central tropical Atlantic. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production Team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.